I'll go through pages 1 and pages 2 are line item transfers. So I'll just sort of briefly go through and let me know if you have any questions. The first is election commission, just moving $1,000 from postage into printing. The next one, $200 with the trustee's office, moving into in-service training. The third one, $200 with the IT department, just moving $200 into communication for the cell phone he has. Circuit court clerk, moving $2,647.50 into contracts for the new app that they have, and he's taking that from office equipment and fees. The next one is the judge. They're again taking money from communication, the phone systems for extra money needed on dues and memberships and drug testing with the new hire. General Sessions Court clerk, same thing, the $26,470. The two, basically Circuit Court and General Sessions, same clerks. They're going doing this together. That's an app, and he's taking money to cover that from supplies, equipment, and data processing services. Any money on that first page? Again, they're just line item transfers. Second page, line item transfers as well. The first one, big $14, just coming from travel into postage. The second one is juvenile court, $70, coming from postage into custodial supplies. The third one, sheriff's office, just $2,082, coming from travel into in-service. That's what we pay for registration fees instead of the lodging and per diem. Local health, that is $500, coming from maintenance and repair buildings to some areas they're going over, like postage, rentals, advertising, and supplies. And then the last one, this was not on your preliminary report I sent out. This is a DGA grant that just came to me yesterday. DGA grant is 100% reimbursed, but they have an employee that is going to get a mid-year raise. So the grant is going to take it from benefits and move it into payroll. And that's what that represents. Any questions on those? Okay, page 3, this page and page 4 would deal with either new money, new revenue, etc. So I'll go through each of these. The first one, we have the assessor's office. She has her CVU mailings. That's the assessment that's going out. So she didn't have that budgeted, so she is asking to put that into her budget, and I can cover that with the interest income extra that the county is getting. The second one is the county clerk. He's asking for money to be moved into, I'm sorry, county clerk. I haven't changed her. This is the app that she's using with the circuit court clerk, and she's moving monies from her reserves that she has new now, additional fees and vehicle certificates. So we've got increased revenues in these new line items that are covering that for her. The third one, the circuit court, this is another inmate medical health evaluation that we got charged. So so this one was $21,600. I am able to offset it with the interest income there again. And the fourth one on this page is the General Sessions judge. The state made an error, and they made an adjustment to his pay mid-year and brought that to me this past month. So that is the increase, and again, being offset with interest income. Any questions on any of those? Okay. Page 4. If you don't mind, can we just skip the top one, because I'm thinking that's going to be one that's going to have discussion. So I'll go to the second one. That's the EMA. This is insurance recovery and some interest income to offset the purchase of a replacement Polaris. That was the 2017 one that was totaled due to vandalism. The next one is local health. That is another insurance recovery. Basically, that was the damage on the health department. The insurance cut us a check for just over $20,000. The next one there is tourism. Insurance recovery again. That was some leftover visitor center damage to out front here that we had due to that accident. That was the remainder portion of that. And then the last one on that page is a workers' comp refund that's being used to offset a bond that we had to pay this year and some increase in our liability insurance. Any questions on those 4? Okay, so the one at the top there, that is the General Sessions Court clerk, and I did write as much as I could to sort of explain. But what this is it's somebody with who's in the EMA department, and I won't read everything, I'm sure y'all have that, but somebody from the EMA dispatch department that wants to move into the circuit clerk's office General Sessions Court clerk office, they share an office, and is asking to maintain the same pay if they do that transfer. So I have the details there, I can go into more, or is there questions on that?
So what's the rest of the people getting in that's in there?
They would just keep their normal pay raise plus step and COLA if it was approved this year.
So is this one gonna be higher paid than the rest of them?
Yes, sir.
I don't think that's right. You're transferring into somebody else's department.
She wants to drop $5 an hour, it looks like what it's gonna be there, doesn't it?
No, this person currently makes $21.90 an hour. They're asking to keep that rate of pay.
But going into that office, she should be making $16.21, is that not what I'm reading?
No, they're asking to keep the $21.90.
But
We understand that.
If they went there,
New hall.
Oh, it is a step A1, okay, because typically a person that would be hired new would be a step A1. So yes, the step A1 is actually $13.73 is what a new hire would start. Now, she has years of service, so, you know, you could potentially look at the years of service she would have, experience, that type of thing. But if she were to come in at just step A1, it would be $13.73 versus the $21.90.
So let's assume we go back and pick up 2 years of service.
Okay.
Typically, what would that be?
That would be, oh, I do have those numbers. That would be at $19.09 for 21 years of service.
1909, based on that office's salary range.
The step A on that salary range, yes, sir.
Where's Ethan?
I'll be glad to give you my pitch.
Here.
Let's hear it, Bill.
So basically, like Heather said, we're talking about an employee that's been here 21 years. As far as us, my office is concerned, she's going to be coming in with considerable amount of knowledge about the office. I mean, a lot of our daily responsibilities in general sessions, we send stuff down to her. I mean, she calls us about certain things, asking questions. She has some baseline knowledge about what we do anyway. So I saw that as an asset. She would be replacing someone that's been with us for 10 years. You can't just replace someone with 10 years of experience with a new person off the streets. I mean, she has experience that will separate her from someone who is brand new right off the rip. The deputy clerks in the office they also speak very highly of her. A lot of the clerks would have liked to have come today, but court was still going on, so we had to leave court. I had to leave court to attend to this. But as far as the money side of it, the county's already paying her this anyway. I'm not asking for her to make more than she already is now. I'm just asking for her to make the money that she has earned through her service with the county. Honestly, her experience with the county should allow her this opportunity to make a transition in her career. Obviously, she wants to do this because she's here attending this meeting. This is something she's interested in. And I also think that she has shown a lot of initiative for me. She has come in on her own time to watch our workflow. She's even sat in and trained with some of my deputy clerks now. And she's even looked over our reference books. I believe she even made copies herself. So she's already studying up on the job before she's even stepped foot in the office. I think she's going to bring a lot more than someone on day one. She's invested in the job, and I think that's what we all would want to hear. You know, me as a department head and you as the commission, I think she'll be a valuable asset to my office. Obviously, I would urge you to allow this to happen for her. Obviously, we'd be disappointed if you didn't, but you're really telling her no, probably more so than you're telling me no. And that's really all I'd like to say. If y'all have any questions.
I do.
Yes, sir.
How many people in your office are you paying that pay rate to right now?
None of them, sir. Our step scale is different from EMA.
Who's your longest, not name, what's the next
Years of service.
How many years of service is your longest serving employee?
I want to say it's at 20 or 21.
And they're not making what this one's gonna be making, same amount of time.
That's correct, but I will say my employees are not concerned about that.
This year, what about next year? They gonna start griping because she makes more money?
I can't speak for them, to be completely honest with you. That they say that she'll be a great fit. I
This
kind of
is,
factored that into my decision to pursue this.
this is gonna open the door in the county for everybody to do the big swap around and shopping and leaving here to go there. And if she's transferred into a different department and nobody in that department makes the same amount of money as she does with the same amount of years, this ain't gonna go well. You may say it is, but it's not. It's not gonna go well with the people in the courthouse. It's not gonna go well next year. It's not gonna go well with budget and finance in the future. And it'll be setting a precedence on this here that anybody can do it. If we do it once, you gotta do it all the time.
I understand that, but for the sake of fairness too,
That's what I just said, fairness. Fairness. There's 20 people in your office, 21 years, and they ain't making what she's making. That is not fair.
well, to counter that, I'm not really trying to argue with you. I'm just saying
Well, I'm just
she's earned the
pointing
salary
out.
with the county, and I do think she has earned this opportunity, and she's earned the salary she's made. So I mean, it all is coming from the general fund. So the tax burden on this employee is not changing. That's the only argument I'd like to make.
I said my piece.
Yes, sir.
What has happened in the past, if it's happened? An employee went from one department to another, what has happened? Sir?
Since I can recall that we've had one situation where it was an employee that moved from the jail into Ethan's office prior to Ethan having that role. That employee took the position due to a change in management prior to being approved, so she went into the office. Then the clerk, Jason Wallace at the time, came back and asked if they would honor her pay, which hourly, she was making $16.11 in the jail, and she came in at she would have been $16.06 with years of service. She would have been dropped down further if not, but they did honor the $16.11, and commission approved that to bring her in at that. And then she did not step. The condition was she was brought in at that, and that was in fiscal year 18-19, but she did not step at all, and will not until the step catches up with her, which is still years off.
So she's not getting the step raise.
She's never gotten a step raise since she moved in that position. She has received a COLA, if there was a COLA, but she has not received a step raise.
Do we want to vote on this item right here? Item seven?
Yes. So we've set a precedent. You're telling me, yes, already.
We did.
And it's not gonna cost us any more money to do it. She's already making 21 million.
Not with the current, but you do have the EMA that's gonna have to refill a dispatch captain. I'm just trying to get facts. So you're gonna have a position that they're gonna have to bring up to a higher position to refill the dispatch captain position that left. So there will be an increase overall for the budget, yes.
But what I'm saying is that everybody's gonna be watching everything now. And when there's an opening to go anywhere today, they may be unhappy about anything. That they just go and they take all their time and money with them. Well, it's going, from here on, if we do this, you're opening the can of worms. You know what happens, they all crawl in.
Ethan,
Yes, sir.
do you think this potential employee would settle for the 1909 as if she was transferring and settling into that position at the current rate?
I mean, to be honest, I can't speak for her. That was kind of a personal conversation. So, I mean, I'd be glad to ask her, but I didn't get into that
Okay.
up to this point.
If you do what was done in the past, as the commission approved, and she accepted, or you gave her this $21 an hour, then she would be subject of not getting any other raises until she met that step at that period of time. Is that correct?
If we treat it like the other one, yes.
And that was my understanding too, just from past conversations with Heather about that issue. So I did tell her about that before we started any discussions.
I have a question. And I have no question about the lady's work ethic. And I know her, and I know she does a good job at anywhere she's at. Right now, she's in a supervisory role. So how much of this 2190 is supervisory pay that she wouldn't be doing in your office? She won't be a supervisor in your office, right?
Well, I mean, it's basically however you want to think about it. We handle general sessions criminal, general sessions circuit, traffic, general session, or circuit criminal, circuit civil. So, I mean, she would be the go-to for that one court that she's doing. So, I mean, it's however you want to look at it. I'm not trying to fabricate and say that everyone's a supervisor, but
Well, I know she's well qualified for the job. I don't have a question about that.
she would be someone that eventually would be over a certain court.
Okay. How much is the supervisory part of her pay? Is that something you can break out?
Well, she's on a step C, is that correct, on the EMA? Let me look real quick. For step 2, hold on. So the position she's going to is a step A position under the clerical classification. Right now, she would be a step B employee under the EMA classification. He has 2 classifications, telecommuter 1 and telecommunicator 2.
Yeah, the 2 are the supervisors. So what would be a 1 in the same time frame?
A 1 for 21 years of service. Let me add that. $20.86 an hour.
$20.86 an hour.
Anybody got any more questions?
Mayor, you got a recommendation?
You know, if I'm gonna be honest, it'd be hard for me to recommend because I know who it is. I know what they bring. I also agree with Mark and some of the others that it won't be a conflict this week. It will be a conflict we deal with before we get out a 2-year term, you can bet that. The circumstance that happened earlier with the young lady is apples and oranges from this one. It's not even in the same. Heather showed them to me, and I told her, I said, I'm gonna step out of it because I know who all's involved, and then that's gonna make a difference, and that should not make a difference. So precedence is not set, but I also feel that she should be able to move into that office with the exact same years of service, no matter what branch it's from.
Oh, I agree with that.
So, I mean, if you,
Everybody's good with the years of service, but I'm not good with going from here to just, I don't know, I'm just saying, do you think this is a better job, you know, for some reason you wanna go here,
And
but they don't pay as much, so you just take your whole package with you.
you asked me for my opinion, and my opinion is there are folks at the courthouse that settle for the pay that we give them, that there's nobody over there besides elected officials. I've struggled with this year, Heather can tell you. They don't, I mean, you give them 2 extra days off this year, they have the best benefits package in the state. There's nobody that's gonna compete with us. You go to these other meetings and other mayors are talking about our benefits package, and so you give you guys 2 more holidays and things like that. And, you know, I guess my opinion would be if a person is not wanting to work weekends, days, that's what you get paid for at the sheriff's office, you know, that's what you get paid for at dispatch and EMS. Those guys don't get holidays. If it's Christmas, they have to find somebody to work, or they have to work regardless. And that's what you pay them extra for. Knowing this person's knowledge and expertise, I imagine she could very well sit where any of us sit and do a great job. But I do not think precedence is set in this. I think that was a completely different incident. That lady thought she was terminated and wanted to find a quick job. That's what happened. So with new management, so, I mean, that's what it is. So to compare these, those are not a fair comparison in my book. But then again, I also understand that he will be put in a bad situation with court, not having, but, you know,
I'll ask one more question. For an employee that's transferred, her rate pays basic what? What is her basic hourly rate?
$21.96.
Okay. And then overtime's on top of that?
Correct.
I know you pay overtime. How much overtime a year?
208 hours.
Okay. You gonna pay overtime?
I mean, Heather could probably attest to it. We had comp time balances before I took office. You can't make them get rid of them, but we haven't had a payout since I've been in office.
If so, it's been minimal, but I can't remember one, yeah.
I can tell you for
He's
sure.
worked very hard to get the balances down.
I have not had a payout since I've been in office.
If there's no other questions, we're gonna move on to the next page.
Yes, sir.
We will come back and vote on these things in a minute.
Page 5, these are, the first one is the drug control fund. This is a line item transfer, just taking $3,200 out of equipment into vehicles. And then the bottom one there is the debt service fund. That is simply moving money from amortization schedules changes into interest and principal transfers and principal and notes on the bottom one. Questions on those? And then page 6 is going to be the school system.
Okay, we're gonna go back and vote on 101 with the exception of this employee. Will that work?
Yeah, so,
Everything but this.
Everything with this employee.
but the top one on page 4,
Yeah.
correct?
Right.
Motion to approve, sir.
Do I have a second?
Sorry.
Okay, I have a motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay. We're gonna go with this employee.
Was that vote only on 101, sir? 'Cause we-
Yeah.
Oh, we do need to vote on
We
122
need
and
to do the others.
121. Yes, sir.
Okay. 122 and 151. Do those together, motion approved. Have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. We want to back up to this employee and what do we want to do? Sure. I need a motion first. I don't have a motion or.
I make a motion to vote on it up or down.
I don't have a problem moving her. Sounds like a good fit for his office, okay?
Oh, there's no question of that, not in my book. She can go in there and do a good job.
Then she should be paid for it.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I assume that, you know, she making 21.9, but she won't be getting overtime, so she's gonna take a loss. She got that, I mean,